an environment of support, you know, and he works towards goals. And I saw him every time I would see him in the weight room or any time in the hallways or talking to his team. Everybody in the team, and himself included, is working with goals. But the main investment of everybody, including himself, is focusing on the process. And I think that feeds anybody's resilience. So also in Nadal, of course. That's how he, I think, got back into the final. I mean, he was behind 2 sets, but because he focused on the process, and even Medvedev, he said, well, at the 3rd set, he raised his level. And because when you focus on the process, you get into a certain zone, you know, no matter win or lose, it's not more about points, it's just about the next shot. And I started, when I watched the match, I saw a change. All the routines that he was doing, everything was a little bit more in flow. He started more nervous, but later he was more in flow because he was not focusing anymore on embarrassment of missing shots, or he was focusing on what he could do. And then he gets access to his amazing talent, of course, that's there. And I believe, to me, resilience means that you can endure tough times and show up, you know, and you get to move forward, and usually with success. And that's what I think he did. Yeah, I go back. I talked to you about this like last time we did an interview about how you take Victor Arnescu, super talented, really strong player, but did not get all the support. Coming from a very poor country, the family also wasn't really into sports, so they didn't really promote him. So that can really hurt your career. And nothing to the down for Victor, because he still did amazing with what he could do. But take Roger also. I mean, his environment is so good. Good parents, good management, good coaching. I mean,
even for recovery, Pedro. Roger and
good
Nadal,
doctors.
when they have surgeries, they have this amazing team with top technology. And this is one of the W's of the ways.
You remember that Roger even...
What did you say, Pedro?
Proper time happens when someone is injured.
Exactly.
Roger also won the Australian Open, huh? Like, he had surgery, and it's amazing. Like, a couple of years ago, Roger won the Australian Open in the same way.
Exactly.
And Rafa had surgery, and he wins the Australian Open. So there must also be, you have to consider these people around, these doctors, and know exactly what they're doing. And they're brave, they're testing new methodologies of how to maintain cartilage, and all these, I mean, really specific scientific people that know what they're doing. So yeah, that kind of supports your resilience, of course, too, to be able to sustain, to keep playing when you're 40 or 35, in Nadal's case. I think 15 years ago, you wouldn't even think about a player playing a final of the Grand Slam at age 35 or 40. You know, it's so we are evolving in the sports, and I'm very happy to be part of it. Because, you know, we always say that physical has a plateau, technical has a plateau, tactical even has a plateau. Mental doesn't have a plateau. You can keep expanding. That's why you see Roger and Rafa, when they first started, they were already awesome, but now you see them talking so much more evolved. There's wisdom coming from them. There's gratitude coming from the ability to express gratitude. I mean, that also attracts people to want to stay with you, to stay in the team. And if you're always this gripey, egotistical tennis player, which also can happen, you know, it can go into the ego, then you see a lot of breaks. And these teams, they've been together for a very long time. They say that. A lot of people say that. And I have great respect, of course, for Tony Nadal. And in the time where he started. I remember he got out these ritual books, or a book about rituals, which I don't completely agree with, because rituals are not the same as routines, but it was effective. It worked for Nadal. It was a bit quirky, all the nose tapping and all these things. And I guess Tony did have a function in terms of the mentality, more philosophy, I think. I know he's known as a tennis coach, but I think it's more that he was supportive for Nadal in his philosophy, which also gives mental resilience, of course. But I wouldn't call Tony Nadal a high-performance mental specialist. But
I mean, I was talking about the role. I mean, the role of a mental coach.
The role, I believe, I usually tell my clients that they are great without me also. They're going to do great things without me also. The only thing what happens when you work with a specialist or a high performance coach is that the moment of reaching a goal is faster, because we can learn faster, we can accelerate faster, we can overcome obstacles faster due to mental tools and skills training. I don't know if you can compare it to just everyday life. I mean, you have a fight with someone, a person who's highly educated, highly evolved, will say sorry quicker, and then it's resolved quicker. Or, you get to a realization faster, or an acceptance level, or you go through anger phases faster.
Or failure.
Or
you
failure.
Stand up and keep moving if you have the right knowledge and tools.
You usually see someone who's untrained, uneducated, they stay inside of an anger phase, like you did this to me, or it's your fault, or and because of this external search for a solution, they stay into a loop of failure. And as soon as they realize, okay, this is what I did to create this situation, what can we do to not fall in this trap again?
And can we learn
usually
from it?
If you have a really constant coach, which you trust and you feel confident, and he's always giving you facts and logical things that you can really sink your teeth in, then yeah, of course you're going to overcome obstacles faster, because you're kind of feeding off each other. I remember the years that I traveled, the one thing that my player liked the most is that the consistency of the coaching. I mean, yes, we do amazing things sometimes and we get huge compliments, but that's not what I believe is why we're so good. I think we're good and the player is good because there is a synastry, a very good understanding who is doing what. Because I made mistakes too. I told players, I said, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect. And just let me know and I'll try to recover as fast as I can. And that's how we measure in our profession. We don't measure failure. We measure how fast do we recover. And if that gets shorter, then a career of usually 10 years, can still have many successes. If you only learn after or your final career, you see a lot of athletes who don't do any mental training. They get successes at the end of their career, which could have been years ahead. Because I remember there was a Spanish girl winning the US Open. And she's like, I never thought I was going to win US. I don't remember right now off the top of my head her name. Yeah, and she said, if I knew this earlier in my career, I would have won so many more tournaments. She even said it in the interview. And I so agreed with that. I said,
it came too soon for her.
Yeah, if she would have had the correct coaching and the correct environment that could already open her mind to the possibilities, to her talents, and fed to her in a consistent way with good mental tools, skills training, I think she would have had many more successes as well. Do what he does. And which is like just play every point, just try to do it better. But I think maybe that's why I'm the kind of coach that I am. I'm never focused on winning. Although the objective, of course, is to gain points, ranking, and win tournaments. But I said in the process, it can never be about winning. It can never be about Nadal. a player who has a game. He has been developing this game for years. And that is the challenge. You bring your game to the competition and you see how well does your game stand against Djokovic? How well does your game stand against Nadal? And I usually say, let's see how it... I remember Victor had to go first round against Roger Federer, and Roger Federer was top form. We had really good tactics to play against him. I said, we're going to have to play a lot more aggressive, and the tactics, and even the tactical coach agreed with me and said, psychologically also, this is his playing ground. On grass, center court. So I said, let's see, bring your game. It didn't work for Victor. He lost against Roger, but the next round, Stankovsky, he wins with the same tactics. He even came to me, he said, thank you, Dave, because I watched the match and it was really smart. That's the way you can. And I beat Federer. And you could look at Victor's stats. His serves was super high percentage. It's just, Federer's coach came to me and said, I feel like I have to apologize because like Federer today was like from Mars or something. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I didn't do anything special. It just was super.
Victor was great, but Roger was these days, like
out of the world. And when Nadal is playing at that level, you saw Medvedev saying that also he increased his level. And then Medvedev said, yeah, it's just another level. And you get there by focusing on your game. Nadal, he's of course not a Martian. He just did something really well. He started focusing on the process really well, really specific. Like, okay, this serve I'm going to play like this. So making it all about his game. And if I were to have a player playing against Nadal, I would not do anything more special because it's Nadal. I would encourage him to focus on his game and see how well does it work. Because sometimes your game is enough. If you start doing something else, and that's why the big four usually win against good players, because they start changing towards the opponent. And because they are not used to playing like that, they're not playing their game.
Exactly.
And then you're already a little bit weaker.
So going back to the 4Ws, Pedro, in terms of what Dave was saying, playing your own game, focusing on your own game is the way in terms of the strategy, putting the camera on yourself instead of the opponent, and the will, the determination is to fight for each point until the end, like a warrior. And that usually makes a difference.
But do you agree that a player like with the mental strength like Nadal has, I don't say he steps in the court winning already, but it's already a big advantage. No. That fame about his mental strength. Actually,
I know Nadal is a very nervous person. Actually, I don't know if you want to write that, but it's. I don't think this is a secret. Very kind. But he's concerned, he concerns himself. I remember my wife walked into Roland Garros. You have that tube going down to the big restaurant, and there's a corner that you cannot see, and they bumped into each other. And he was so concerned.
Yes.
Like, are you all right? Amazing. And, because he hit her pretty hard. And that just shows what a beautiful person he is, that he's concerned. But that kind of concern can also go into worrying. Mm-hmm. And if you, before the match, suffering a lot to think about everything that went wrong. And there was a period in his career that he was really stuck in that until he found again a way to focus on the process. It hasn't happened yet. Let me just be here, and then the outcome will be revealed. Have more peace, understanding that you cannot control things in the future. Mm-hmm. You can only focus on what you can do now. And I think that's how he found his way back. And he has some very good people, a lovely wife that supports him, of course. Nothing to take away from Nadal's success, but nobody does things that he does, and Roger, and alone. There's always people around.
And he's human, so he feels.
I'm going to call him the superhuman. Not Superman, but the superhuman.
We call our clients WHBs, coined by Cristina. Wonderful human beings. They're just so wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cristina and Dave.